Thank you, Wengie. She's totally wrong about the spandex, but I will tell you that when you put spandex on a body like this and you go out in public, people feel like they can do the same thing. If you're going to make a fool of yourself, they'll follow right along with you. They'll get on those bicycles or they'll get those baby strollers and those carriages and they'll walk with you. And on an August day that's 110, they'll reach in that back pocket, and they've been sweating now, mind you, for an hour or more, and they'll give you a wringing wet piece of paper that says, "This is my home address. What can you do about the pothole on my street?" But it really is fun. And you know, healthy communities are engaged communities. And engaged communities invite more business in. The students are better educated. Fort Worth is truly focused on building a healthy and active city. Somebody said, "Why does this matter so much to you, Betsy?" I said, it's always mattered to me because personally, I know if I don't get up and do something in the morning or in the evening or whenever I have time, if I don't get up and stretch, I make my team get out and walk with me between pre-council and council every Tuesday. They're not always happy, but they do it. But if I don't do it, I can't get my mind squared. I can't focus on the business at hand for the city. You as health professionals can't either. You know that drill. And what we have to do is be the cheerleaders to spread that message, to get the message going. If we're going to be the healthiest city in Fort Worth, in the nation, and we're well down the road with the things that we've taken on. We just beat Des Moines, Iowa in a 10-week challenge for the most active citizens per capita, and Fort Worth won. Now you say, how can... You're probably thinking, how can Cowtown, the home of cattlemen's, the fat stock show, we love beef, we love good food in Cowtown, how can we do that? It's all about education. It's all about you as health professionals, as educators, as parents, as business people, helping us move that forward. You know, the approach to healthy city can come from anywhere. It can come from civic, which is one of the reasons that we do our rolling town halls. We started our rolling town halls almost 3 years ago. You all probably know, and if you don't know, you're either not in this region or you've been asleep, that I'm an avid cyclist, because the paper and the news media are very fond of getting you in your spandex with your helmet and goggles on. They think it's hilarious that the mayor of the 17th largest city in the nation shows up places in spandex. But you can do civic, and we want to engage our citizens. All of you know, when you're relatively happy with your community, you don't let your elected officials know much about it. It's when you're unhappy. So what we have to do is reach out and touch those people. And those rolling town halls are a great tool to reach people. Now we've had 1,000 or 1,500 people ride with us in 3 years. Now they bring their kids and they ride on their training wheels and they talk to us. We're getting more and more new people, but not everybody cycles. Even though I'm that crazy idiot that's ridden across Iowa, ridden hotter than hell in Wichita Falls 7 times, yes, and I'm still alive to talk about it. But a lot of people don't. So we walk. On Saturday mornings, we do walking town halls. The cool thing about that is you can pick up trash, you can talk to the kids, but you can find out what people truly think about your city, and you can inspire them. And we've had some great success stories from people who've emailed back or texted back and said, you know, I felt a lot better after I got out and got going. Education is the other big piece. We simply have to engage back with our schools, back with our public schools, with our private schools. We try to go twice a month and read to kids, do a run on their field with them. It's really funny. We were in Keller recently, in Keller ISD, which is in Fort Worth city limits. And I'm running with somebody back there's from Keller. Thank you. From Keller ISD. We were running with these 3rd, 4th, and 5th graders getting ready for Cowtown, and afterwards, they said, oh, we want your autograph. And I said, I don't have anything to sign with. And one of them produced a marker and said, sign my arm. So I said, your mother's going to kill me. And the teacher said, probably not. So the next morning, I signed about 60 kids' arms and a couple of foreheads. backpacks and jackets, so whatever it takes. But they're excited about it. But the next morning, one of them's mother called me and said, Mayor Price, you're not going to believe this. I took my daughter to her grandmother's, and she jumped out of the car and went running in and said, Nana, Nana, look, Betty White signed my arm. You know, I had to admit that the job ages you pretty rapidly, but I didn't think quite that fast. You know, our medical community is one of the best education pieces that we have. You as health professionals, whether you're doctors, nurses, PAs, whether you're in the education, whether you're working at the hospital, doing PR, you can help with it. You can get it going. I saw a study recently that said many physicians, and their quote was 70% or better of physicians and PAs don't talk to their patients about their weight, particularly the weight of their children, because they're embarrassed. If mom and dad are sitting here and are not very healthy, they're embarrassed to talk to them about that child. But this is a generation that's anticipated to live shorter than those of us. Don't be embarrassed to talk to people about their fitness. It's not about being thin. I'll never be thin in my life, and many of you in this audience can relate to that. But you can be fit. I'm 64 years old, and I can run circles around a lot of people half my age. And you know, sick kids, when children are sick, where are their parents? They're at home. They're taking care of that child, or their grandparents are. That's lost productivities. And our businesses all know, just like you, that their second most expensive item is healthcare costs, but the third is lost productivity. If children are in school learning every day, if they feel well enough to be in school, their parents can be at work and be producing. And Fort Worth gets that, and that's one of the reasons that we want it to be a healthy community. We started our Fit Worth initiative 3 years ago with a $250,000 grant from our friends at Encore to fight, specifically the first part of it, to fight childhood obesity. The first year we engaged our PE teachers at Fort Worth ISD, and the superintendent said, you'll be lucky to have 5,000 children engaged in this initiative. We wanted them to track their exercise for 5 weeks, their eating for 5 weeks, their water time, and limit their screen time on these devices, or these big ones, to an hour a day. And we asked the kids to sign up, and as part of it, their parents had to commit to help them. 25,000 students signed up and completed the challenge. That's an amazing figure. And they're still going. They've got other challenges, and the winning school got $1,000 in new PE equipment. But the fun thing is, we have a whole lot more children now participating in the challenge. This year, we're up to about 32,000. We had about 6% more kids in the Cowtown Marathon this year. They did the 5K, but they were still there. So we got started, and the fun thing was their parents are engaged. Their parents are now out walking with them and talking with them. When we first started it, parents would say, you know, I was prepared to hate you. I'm home trying to fix dinner, trying to do homework, trying to get ready for the next day at school, the next day at work, and Susie's jumping up and down and going, the mayor says we gotta run. The mayor says we gotta walk the dog. We gotta go, Mom. She said, but the good news is we got out, we met our neighbors that we'd never met. We walked with the older woman across the street. We realized that our elderly neighbor down the street hadn't picked his paper up for 3 or 4 days. So it really has multiple spin-off effects. And as a result of that, we started a Fit 15, which was a challenge for our businesses to get their employees up and moving. We go out, walk with them, and they sign a pledge to get up away from their cubbyhole and walk for 15 minutes a day. Simple movement, but it makes all the difference in the world. We've had some incredible success stories just at City Hall. One of the girls at City Hall said, I didn't want to do this, I'll tell you the truth, but my cubicle mate said, you need to go support the mayor. She walks twice a day now for 15 minutes each time, and she's lost 25 pounds. But the good news is, she says she can make it through her afternoon without going to sleep at her desk. That's a win for all of us. So the corporate challenge has gone great. I go out and walk with them. We put on our t-shirts or tennis shoes with our skirts and we go walk. But that got us interested in the Blue Zone. Texas Health Resources was already researching. You know that y'all's focus is on well-being. The city's been fortunate enough to partner up, Doug Hawthorne, Barclay Bardan, the rest of you, to help us move this forward. The Chamber got interested in the fact that Blue Zones would be a great tool for us for economic development, to draw more jobs, to draw more businesses, to get them there, because it impacts schools, businesses, restaurants, grocery stores. Even our grocery stores are engaged. We did a Blue Zone assessment last year, and we were picked to become a Blue Zone city. It's a 5-year project, and I think you're going to hear more about it as we move along. Your mayor here in Dallas, Mike Rawlings, is a dear friend, and Mike said, I want to be a part of that. And I said, not till we do it, Mike. But it also impacts at the city our future developments. We started looking, with the help of our friends from Blue Zone, Dan Buettner, Joel Spoonheim from Live America, at our development concepts. Do we let the school districts build schools that are right here and back fences all the way around them so that parents have to get in a car, drive around to the front of the school, to the main street, let their kids out? Why can't we encourage developers to put sidewalks into those schools? Why can't we share their park, their playground become a city park? Smart development encourages great activity. We're also working on our urban villages, because one of the things that we hear constantly from young professionals and baby boomers like me, we'd only want one car. We want to live, work, walk, play in the same basic area. We have 16 urban villages that have been incredibly successful. And as a partnership there, we put in more sidewalks, easier crosswalks, and we're working on complete streets. And complete streets means that not on the very busy thoroughfares, but on most of our streets, we're putting bike paths. You can walk, you can run, you can push a baby carriage, you can rollerblade along with the cars, and we have to educate people. We put in our B-cycles, our bike share program last year, and people said they won't ride those rent bikes in Texas in August. 2/3 of them stayed checked out every day. They rode them through the winter, they ride them constantly. And the number of trips that have been taken and the memberships that have been sold is just phenomenal. We as professionals simply have to make movement and healthy cities simultaneous. And we have to encourage the kind of development that you as healthcare professionals can relate to and that citizens can. Our Walk Fort Worth plan is really coming along. The Bike Fort Worth plan is totally underway. We're excited about it. But in conclusion, mayors have a very strong bully pulpit. We can deliver that message, but you as healthcare professionals have a just as strong a bully pulpit. You can deliver that. You can be a business partner who encourages it. You can be a parent or grandparent who encourages active lifestyles. 30 minutes out of your day, every day, is not much to sacrifice to be able to rock that sweet grandchild or that sweet baby of yours a little bit longer. A little bit of exercise. I think you're going to have Roy with you shortly to get you moving. I know you're going to learn a lot at this conference. I'm excited about what comes out of it. We especially want to thank our friends at Texas Health Resources for making Fort Worth a great place to be, and indeed, it'll overflow into the entire Metroplex. So come see us on Fort Worth. Bring your tennis shoes. Don't come without them. We expect you to get engaged. Thanks for having me.